even though it's swanky. Okay, cool. So, hi there, everyone. Welcome to fall, week 2, VGDA, fall 2016, week 2. Welcome to VGDA. It's happening. We're doing voting for our new leads. We're voting for the game that we're going to work on this semester. Hold on, it's going to get crazy. All right, so yeah. Last thing we need to do at the end of today is we're going to meet, you're all going to kind of get organized in your discipline teams, familiarize yourself with the people that you're going to be working with. Now, just something I want to make really clear, because it's going to get confusing. I just want to make it as clear as possible, as often as possible. So you are going to be on 2 teams, at least, this semester. You are going to be on your discipline team, which you're split up programming, gameplay design, narrative design, sound, art. Those are the discipline teams. That's what you're going to be splitting up into after we hear the pitches and stuff like that. You're also going to be on a feature team, which is going to be a smaller group, roughly 12 people, and well, smaller if you're in programming, and much bigger if you're in sound. But yeah, so you're going to be on a team of roughly 12 people, and those are going to be the people that you do a lot of your work with. But your discipline team, you're going to be checking in with them just every week to make sure that you're all kind of going in the same direction. Okay, so I'll be talking about the people who, sorry, not the people, but the positions that are being run for today. But so you candidates who are running in about 2.5 minutes. Time's a little tight, so the time usually doesn't go over than that. Also, we don't have any actual contests this semester. Everyone's running unopposed. So, this will be less about voting, because there's no contest. But it'll be mostly so that these candidates can introduce themselves, tell you what they're about, so that you know who you're going to be working with this semester. So we have 4 of our discipline leads are up for election this semester. We have the technical, we have the gameplay design, narrative design. Oh, actually, sorry. I'll explain that mess up in a second. So, technical, gameplay design, narrative design leads. The discipline leads, basically, they're going to be making sure that all of the work that is done by people in their discipline is at a reasonable level of polish, and it's also all kind of in the same style for the art and for the narrative and for the gameplay and for the sound. Sound teams. So those 4 teams are going to be making sure that all their stuff is in sync stylistically. Programming team is going to be making sure that people aren't breaking each other's code. Cool. VP administration is the kind of exec board position that's being run for. Basically, the closest that we have to a real vice president, they'll be working with me to make sure that everything on the administration side gets done and is awesome. So, as of yet, there are a few positions that we're still trying to fill. A lot of the people on the administration side are not filled at the moment. We do have some people who are willing to who want to pick up that slack if we don't have anyone who runs, but the problem is that one of the minimum requirements that we have normally for these positions is that you be able to make it to our executive meetings, which are Tuesday from 4 to 6. These people can't quite make that, so we're keeping the position open for this week for anyone who might like to come in and run for these positions. You do have to make it to the 4 to 6 meetings on Tuesday, but yeah, if you have any questions about them, you can contact us at contact.vgda@gmail.com, or you can come up to me at the end of the meeting. Just ask me what's up with those. We're still looking for someone to be the art lead. It's a really great resume, building opportunity, and what the art lead will be doing is maintaining a clear style, and also helping decide the priority of various tasks. Kind of discipline lead. It's not a small amount of work. It's like adding a 3-unit class to your schedule. And we do need someone who's going to be able to commit to that. But as always, if you're if you still feel that you're learning leadership skills or art skills, we do have plenty of people who will be there to assist you. Until we get a full-time art lead, I'll be doing that. So yeah, y'all artists get to work with me. Feel privileged. Anyway, yeah. So that's what's going on there. So we'll start with Elijah. Come on down. Tell us about yourself. Deep starry spirits. All that good stuff. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Alright, hey guys, I'm Elijah and I am running for narrative lead this semester. I have been part of VGDA for the past 3 semesters, so this is my 4th. And I joined back when, for the past 3 semesters, we've just had the design team, which was narrative and gameplay combined together. And so I started off as just a designer for that, and then the past 2 semesters I have been the sub-lead, so I've been working really closely with the lead on trying to manage the team. This semester we're boiling it down into narrative and gameplay. So I'm just going for the narrative side because I'm a screenwriter with a creative writing minor. So I focus all my time on just writing narrative and story stuff. All my favorite types of games and stuff are all story based. So that's really where my passion's at, and that's why I want to be your lead for narrative lead this semester. And one of the main things that we want to work on this semester is just better facilitated communication, both within the teams and between the other teams. And that was the main thing that I did as sub-lead last semester especially, was just going and talking to everyone else on all the other teams and trying to make sure that we were all on the same page with everything we were working on. And so, yeah, I really hope that you guys want me to be your narrative lead. I hope that I can help teach you guys a lot of stuff, whatever you need to know about the process, since I've been part of it for the past 1.5 years. And we're all gonna have a good time and learn a lot of stuff. So thanks, guys.
So since we don't have any contests, normally we vote. We don't have any contests. I won't waste y'all's time with that, or the paper trees. So I guess these are more acceptance speeches than anything, now that I think about it. Yeah. So yeah, next up, Peter for gameplay.
Yeah. So I'd like to first say I bless you. That was my first thing actually. I accept this position. I've been with VGDA as a designer and officer for the past year. Yeah, 2 semesters. That was fun. And this past summer, I was a feature team lead on the Echoes of Tikkun Polish team. So we didn't necessarily finish the game last semester. We're going to finish this game. We will. And I helped both coordinate the teams on the tutorial team and the puzzle team at different times. And I designed both the tutorial and the new puzzles and revised other puzzles. During that time, I had to try to figure out how to make a clear design doc for everybody, and that was both short and concise, so that I'm not wasting everybody's time, and so that they'll actually read the stupid thing. Yeah, that's a problem, by the way. But yeah, I'm good.
Okay. You're great. Thank you. All right. And next up, to be your VP of Administration, I'm going to get Shion down here. Yeah.
Hello everybody, my name is Chi, and I'm currently a senior majoring in business management. And let me tell you a story about my Asian mother. Other than you gotta be a doctor when you grow up. So she always told me, oh, don't play video games, they're gonna destroy your eyes. But you know, I am a rebellious child. I'm gonna play anyway. And so I wait until she falls asleep, and at night I would play. Or when she go to the grocery, and I have that sweet hour of just me and my games. So that's when I developed my love for video games, and I've always wanted to work in the video game industry. And I know as developers, as future developers, you guys have so many obstacles you guys have to face. So as VP of administration, I want to make it as easy as possible on you guys. And I will hopefully get all of the administration's tasks done so you guys can make your game with ease. And so again, my name is Chi, and I will be the Asian parent that you would never have.
That was great. That sweet hour, like that grocery run hour. See, I think like if I was a kid nowadays, I'd go on the grocery store to get that Pokemon Go, like those Pokestops. But like back in the day, that was crucial. All right, cool. So yeah, you've met some of the people who are running for those open positions, but we have, and just in case you haven't met the rest of the team. So my name is Nathan. I am the president. I've been with the club since it started about 3.5 years ago. 4 more years. Right, so, yeah, so I've been an officer since it started. I've been helping people develop games for about 5 years, something like that, kind of in a leadership-ish role. And when the guy who was the real founder of the club graduated, I kind of took over the president. I've been doing that ever since. It's my last semester doing that because my term's about to come up. But I'm really excited to be working with y'all. We also have as our VP of development, we have Josh Shucker, programming extraordinaire. Yeah. Another one of the people who's been with the club since it started. He's been programming with us for a very long time, been helping out everyone, really kind of stay focused and get everything that they need, because when crunch time happens, we end up relying on our programmers a lot to get the last minute bullshit into the game, and he's helped out a lot. In that vein, so has Michael Zatlin, our tech lead. Yeah, there you go. Doing that a bunch. He's also been one of the people who's been with us since the beginning. It's been really awesome to. It's been great. It's so great to see you grow up. All right. We also have Cameron, who is our sound lead. Been making some. He's been making some dank beats for us for a while. Yeah.
Real dank.
That's what you do. All right, yeah. And let's see. We have a bunch of former officers in the audience who can't be for various time conflict reasons, but I think I've got everyone. Everyone who's not running? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right. I forgot Neil, because I don't love you. All right. All right. So I kind of touched on this last semester. There are several categories of VGDA member. Basically 3, although one I didn't actually write out because I don't know. All right, so kind of the first category of people who come in, they just want to learn, but they don't necessarily want to participate in VGDA fully. They don't want to be on the development team. They don't want to actually, they don't want to put in the time to be working on the game. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. It's just like they've got so much other stuff going on, they just can't handle that extra commitment. And so they come, they hang out with us. It's a good time. No problem with that at all. Kind of the two biggest teams, those people are in the minority though, as most of the people who are here to be on the development or the administration team. Development team is people who work on publishing the game. The administration team, as Chi so aptly put it, are the people who kind of run all the sort of business side of stuff, so that, like when you have artists doing budget, it just goes bad. I know, I'm an artist, I do the budget, it's bad. All right, so yeah. These are kind of the two big things that you can associate yourself with, but if you don't know where you should be, again, come up to me. If you ever have any questions, you can email us at contact@vgda@gmail.com. Also, you can talk to me at any time. I'm also on Facebook. You can send me a private message. I don't think it's too scandalous. All right, so if you're going to be on the development side, I'm mostly going to be talking about development stuff for these first couple meetings. So the discipline teams, we talked about those earlier. If you're going to be on one of the discipline leads, so if you're on one of the discipline teams, sorry. If you're going to be on the sound team, art team, narrative team, gameplay team, programming team, technical team, sorry. There are a few things that you need to do. Sound team needs you to sign up for Trello and then send an email to sound.vgda@gmail.com, giving them the email that you're signed up for Trello with. Trello, if you just Google it, it'll be the first thing that comes up. Trello is a task management software we use to keep ourselves organized, make sure things are getting done. Gameplay design. The highlighting is weird, but gameplaydesign.vgda@gmail.com. Needs you to sign up for Trello and Gmail, and then email them with your Trello info. You'll also be using Google Docs a lot, probably. So yeah. Oh, I didn't finish narrative design thing. My bad. Narrative design and gameplay design, very similar requirements. Trello, email, you'll need to use Google Docs. You can email them narrativedesign.vgda@gmail.com. Tech, it's a little bit special. Need you to sign up for Trello and install and sign up for GitHub. And then email them at technical.vgda@gmail.com regarding all the username and stuff like that so they can add you to Trello and GitHub. Art, in addition to Trello and the normal email stuff, also needs you to send them, you need to sign up for Pinterest and send them your Pinterest, I guess it's me. Oh, it's me this time. All right, so you send me your Pinterest info at art.vgda@gmail.com because we're going to be using Pinterest these first few weeks really heavily and then later on throughout the semester. But really heavily these first couple weeks to put together a kind of visual vocabulary for the game. All right. So I talked about feature teams last time, or a few minutes ago, and last time. But we need people to lead these teams. If you're looking to gain some, a little bit of leadership experience, we need people to help make this project just amazing. The tasks of the leads, I'm going to go over all this information in a lot greater detail next week, but roughly what you need to know is that you'll be leading a team of about 12 developers for a period between 3 and 5 weeks, and you'll be working on a single feature of the game, like player controls or something like that. You'll be working with other feature and discipline leads to determine what tasks are necessary to complete your feature. And you have to be able to regularly come to the executive meetings because that's when you'll be organizing yourselves. And also you'll be able to stay in contact outside of meetings with all of these: Facebook, email, and Trello. There's some people who are very anti-Facebook. Here, tough. Get on Facebook. Just use a fake name. Let us know what that fake name is, and then use Facebook because everyone's on it. It's super useful for us to be able to stay in contact that quickly. So we already have a guest speaker coming in. Really excited about this. You can tell from my expression that never changes. So next Thursday we have Richard Koo. He's a gameplay designer that was worked at Blizzard, worked at Riot. Now he's in the indie scene. I've met him through some of the other connections that I've made at Blizzard. And so last semester, just to give you some context, so last semester, most of you remember, some of you well, most of you were there, and some of you, I've told you about it already, but we had a panel of Blizzard developers come in, and they told us what was working with our game last semester. They told us what wasn't working so great with our game last semester. And we took them out to dinner, wined them, dined them. It's all good. And then they actually were like, hey, this person's really awesome. You should see if he wants to come down. And then they told him that we were really awesome, and he wants to come down and talk to us about gameplay design. So the networking is working, people. It's good. And he's really excited to see how we do things, and because the way we, like the whole like giant development team thing is really special. Not a whole lot of other campuses do it, and almost none of them pull it off. So he's really excited to see how we get stuff done. And we're really excited to learn a little more about gameplay design, because while we have art departments and engineering departments, writing, sound, all that good stuff, we don't have a gameplay design department. So we're really excited to get some kind of a little bit more structured, at least 45 minutes of like structured learning about gameplay design. So we'll have the pitches are coming up soon. I just wanted to really quickly go over what we'll be talking about next week. So next week we'll be looking over the process by which we make games, which is called Agile. Those of you guys who are in computer engineering, computer sciences might know what this is already. Those of you who aren't probably think it's like that move from Pokemon. But basically it's the way we solve problems and communicate. And if you want to take some time to look it up, that's great. We'll be posting a video about it on our Facebook thing tonight. But we'll also be teaching everyone about it. We'll be going into more detail about feature teams. We'll be doing a walkthrough of our Trello page to teach everyone how to use it. We'll be going over a recognition system. This is the way that we kind of let you show off the work that you've been doing, and we celebrate you for all the hard work, wonderful work that you've been doing for VGDA. We'll have team lead presentations. Discipline lead presentations. So the discipline leads, I miswrote that. So discipline lead, see, I told you it'd be confusing. All right, discipline leads presentations. The discipline leads will talk about the direction that they're heading in, which will be decided kind of over the course of the next few days and at the end of today's meeting. We'll be scrumming. So we'll teach you about Scrum, and then we will Scrum, which is like a special kind of meeting. We'll be doing task allocation, so you'll be getting like your first kind of real development tasks other than kind of just ideation next week. And then we'll have Richard Koo come in, talk about gameplay design. After that, so next Thursday, after our meetings, it's our tradition to take our speakers out to an Irish place called Red Leprechaun on, people who've been in the club are like, yes. Mashed potatoes, corned beef, it's good. All right, take them to an Irish restaurant and get hammered. No, I mean, get them some food, hang out with them a little bit longer. It's a great chance to network with these people. But yeah, if you can't remember any of this stuff, get in contact with your lead. If you don't, I'll cut you. Oh, there's something about opening up the website tonight. Ignore that. I copied and pasted from last semester. Okay. As always, sign up for BeachSync. Sign up for Facebook. Facebook is like so much of our organization is done through Facebook. You guys might have saw the first episode of things I should have said last meeting on there. I looked great. Facebook's really important for us to stay organized. That's where announcements about club things and any kind of thing that we really need to get to as many people as possible. If we need to blast out some information about the development, about events, networking things, any of that, it goes on our Facebook, so get on that. Trello, that's the link for our Trello page. You won't be able to get in until you are allowed in. We keep it private so that randoms can't come in and mess it up. Okay, so we'll be having game pitches coming up soon. Yeah, so I'm going to just tell you a little about game pitches, and then we're going to take a quick break as I get all of the presentations loaded up so that we can do it a little bit more seamlessly. But the people that you're about to hear from, they put a lot of work into it. All the pitchers will have about 5 minutes to go over their game pitch. They're trying to sell you their idea. Like, you guys are going to be the ones who are working on this idea. You need to be convinced of the fact that you should work on it, that it's going to be fun for you to work on, and that's going to be valuable for you to work on. Like, those are kind of your 2 big criteria. Listen courteously, laugh at their bad jokes. All right. And keep in mind that these game pitches, they might be giving you story. They might be giving you like a bunch of mechanics and stuff like that, but a lot of that is just kind of a framework or a skeleton of what the game might be. Because what we take from the game pitch is we take kind of the core gameplay, like jumping and stabbing people, core gameplay. And we take the emotional feel that the game is trying to get, like a sense of adventure, or like a sense of like anxiety, tension, horror, whatever. We take those 2 things, and those are the big things that we build a game around. Everything else is more to give it context. Like whatever story they might put in is more to give you a sense of how the game might work once it's more fleshed out. But those things are not set in stone. The things that kind of are the core mechanics and the kind of emotional feel. Do we have any questions, comments, feedback, or anything I've gone over so far? No? Okay, cool. So, I'm going to load up some of these pitch presentations, and then if I could get the pitchers to kind of like sit in these chairs just so we can do it more quickly.
If you like can put one in over there,
Josh, can you forward me change presentation to
yeah.
And did Rhythm Runners also go to you? Rhythm Runners? Yeah.
Well, actually, no, there's no picture of that.
What about the presentation?
That's what I'm saying, no presentation. Sorry, I did not get that.
Okay, so you can think.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that.
Here. Where did Rhythm Runners go? Where did the Rhythm Runners presentation? Was that development or presentation?
Oh, no, hold on. Yeah. No, I do have it.
Okay, can you forward it to me?
Yeah, I'll forward it. Yeah.
I sent that to you also.
No, we're talking about that.
No,
Wait, Rhythm Runners? That's yours. Oh, sorry.
Wait, so you're good then?
I'm very confused, but it should be okay.
If you want me to forward it, I can.
No, I'm fine for right now. I'll let you know. While we're pulling this stuff out, what would be helpful is if you can get your hands on a piece of paper and pencil, because that's how we do collect the votes. We're super legit that way. All right, cool. All right, so pitchers, we have 4 people. Where's the, who's doing, yeah, Captain Swift, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's that? Yes. What? Pitchers do get to vote for whatever game they like.
Anybody else need a paper?
I will.
Does it have to be like a
Priscilla, would you like to go first? All right, does everyone have a piece of paper? They're super legit voting tools. I don't like these lights. Okay, all right, so as far as the way that we don't have any fancy things set up, stand up crafty, so you'll have to stand over here and scroll through it, unless you'd like me to scroll through it for you. Okay, cool. All right, so if I can get everyone, so Tinker's kind of hanging out over here, like sitting down, we have chairs for you. Everyone else, use your best listening skills and give it up for Priscilla, who has escaped from the house of Usher.
So yeah, as you can see from the title of the PowerPoint, the name of my game is called Escape from the House of Usher, so it's pretty self-explanatory. So the story is that you are trapped in the House of Usher, and you need to find the key to escape. But the key is hidden, and the only way you can find the key is if you collect 5 Edgar Allan Poe poems, and on the back of them shows where the key is hidden. But you have obstacles in your way. First of all, if you know the story of the House of Usher, you have to escape the house before it falls. Secondly, you have enemies, like the Black Cat, the Raven, and the toughest enemy of all, the Ghost of Madeline Usher, to escape from. And if you are touched by one of these enemies, you will lose your sanity. And if your sanity drops all the way to the bottom, you will die. What I want to do with this game to make it more interesting is that when you lose your sanity, not only does you actually could hear your heartbeat raise up and go faster, but I also want there to be a distorted view the more you become insane. A few ideas I had that we in our team could talk about is maybe have like an ellipses, so like your view becomes smaller, and it makes it harder for you to find the poems and to dodge enemies. Another idea has maybe making it all red, or maybe putting a filter over the game the more sanity you lose. And I think this will be a really fun and cool concept to do, and it might actually not be too difficult to do either. And there are 2 ways you could like keep your sanity at level. Is one is that you could dodge enemies through quick time events, and 2 is that if you read an Edgar Allan Poe poem, like once you find one, it will raise your sanity up so that you could live for at least a little bit longer. For me, like the biggest influence for the game in terms of like the art is I really like happymouse.exe. Like, I don't know how many of you heard of it, but it's based on a creepypasta. I warn you, I've tried to play the game myself, and it's in a foreign language. I don't know the controls, and if you don't know what the controls are, it will do a jump scare. Just let you know, if you ever want to play it, try to find the controls first before you play it. Or you could just watch a Let's Play like I did. This was from, what's his name, Luigi something. But yeah, that's my biggest influence. Another influence I have is Amnesia, because I like, because it's a similar concept with like the sanity level, the distortion, and the enemies. And that's a little picture my sister drew. It's where you find the instructions of how to play the game. It's so cute. I just wanted to put it there. And I also want this game to be very sound heavy. So sound team, I want you to have so much fun with this game. Because I personally feel that sound is a really big part of what makes the atmosphere of a game. And atmosphere is super important when it comes to horror, anything, horror movies, games, books. So I want there to be like a lot of sound effects. I want there to be atmospheric music. And also the fact that like you could tell what your sanity is, not just by looking at the screen, but also by listening to the game to see how well you're doing. I think that would be a really cool concept to do for a game. So those are the main points of my game. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
Will there be jump scares, or like, is there any way to like block? Like, I know you can avoid your enemies, but is there any way to like to block them or like give more time away from them? Or will it just come in manually?
Oh, that's actually a good question. What I wanted to do was to make the game progressively harder. Like in the beginning, it's really easy. Like there's going to be a few enemies, but like once the game goes on, once you take longer to find the poems, the enemies will become more and more rampant, and it'll make your sanity go lower and lower to make the game harder. So it's going to be one of those progressively harder games.
So we will have levels too, right? Is it like
Yeah, there's going to be levels based on the house. So how the levels are going to work is that the top floor is the library, and it's like a huge library. I showed a picture in the first slide, like something like this, something that big, with like creepy paintings, maybe have the eye. Oh, and a cool idea how it's like maybe like once in a while the paintings turn into skeletons for like a brief flash of lightning. And then the second level will be the bedrooms. There's going to be the guest room. There's going to be Roderick Usher's room. There's going to be Madeline Usher's room, and there's going to be a study room. And then there's also going to be the first floor, which is the floor you enter. And I imagine it'll be kind of like that, and that's where like the kitchen, dining room stuff will be. And I also want to have a secret passageway that leads to the bottom, and that'll lead you to the vault where Madeline Usher was buried alive. And that'll make it like about 4 levels with like a few different rooms to find like all the poems.
All right, and that's what we have time for, but thank you so much, Priscilla. Thank you.
All right, next I get Christian for Rhythm Runners.
Sorry guys, I didn't make a really like elaborate PowerPoint because I was working on projects, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna put up my main points and then I'll explain everything else as I go. So the game that I chose to pitch is called Rhythm Runners. So as you can kind of tell from the name, it's a rhythm type game. So it'd be kind of like a Guitar Hero, or if you guys have played like Citus, Demo, kind of like one of those games. So the reason I picked rhythm games is because I really like them. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to set it apart from all the other rhythm games. What the other rhythms games do is they give you like a set pattern, and they give you a set way to play each song in the game. And I kind of found that a lot of the times, like in this one, it gets kind of boring. The only thing they can do is add more stuff in and make it harder for your hands to move. And in this one, you just have to tap around a little bit more rampantly to try to hit everything. So I wanted to take it apart where you take out that kind of that set pattern that you have to follow to beat each level, or to get past each song. And I wanted to give them a freedom of choice. So the way that the mechanics are going to work are, this is kind of what the game screen was going to look like. So say it's like a forest background. In the beginning of the game, your character is going to run out from the left side of the screen, and the background is going to start moving with them. As the song continues, a enemy with a color, what is it called? Fringe or whatever, a color overlay, will come through the other side that goes along with the song. When the beat reaches your character, you're going to hit one of these 3 buttons. It doesn't matter which button you hit, but one of them is going to be a critical action over the other 2. The reason it doesn't really make a difference what you play, because as long as you hit it in rhythm, as long as you hit one of the buttons, the enemy will die and you won't take any damage. But if you hit the critical action, so say the red button with the red character, your gauge is going to start to fill. And as the gauge fills, once you fill it up, you can get a bonus of some sort of type. So say the red is like you get 2 times multiplier for points for the rest of the enemy, or for the enemies past that. The yellow one is like invincibility for 5 seconds, so you don't have to actually hit anything and they'll just walk past you. And then I didn't really think of a third one for the blue one, but we can figure that out as we do it. The other thing was, sorry, I didn't really think this hard. But I just wanted the reason I wanted to do this type of game was because I didn't really see anything like it, and I thought it would be fun to work on for all the different teams. So for the programmers, I haven't really thought that much past the core mechanic of hit the button at the right time and the enemy will die. So that gives us a lot of freedom to like change things. So you can change it so, oh, you can do 1 or 2 buttons, 1 or 3 buttons. and you can change that. You can also change like how the enemies come through, stuff like that. For the soundtrack, I felt like that really was going to be the heavy point, because in all rhythm games, the worth of the game is in the soundtrack. Because there are a lot of rhythm games that have their own soundtracks, and like Citus and Demo, like those are all songs that I could listen to even when I'm not playing the game. So the sound team, you can make all these different songs that you can make yours, and it doesn't even really have to be like one type of song, because each level can have a different type of song. The designers, we can make multiple levels. You can do any type of background. You know, you can fit it to the song. You can make a background and have the sound fit the background. And the story, like in most rhythm games, it can be any type of story. You can do a story for each level, or you can do one story that kind of like in the background coincides with each level. Like Citus, they have different chapters, and they have different songs in each chapter. And they don't like outright tell you what the story is, but if you really look deeper into the game, you can see it's like your like love is turning into a robot, and like you're like going along with that. So. Sorry, I might not have done the best job explaining that. Kind of nervous, but are there any questions? Yeah.
So each button is the same exact thing, but it looks different.
No, so each button will do like a different type of action. So say this is like a punch button. So when the character comes by, the character would punch the character and it would die. And then this would be like a kick button, and it would do like a kick, and the enemy would die. And then a block button where you would like block the incoming character's attack, and then it would run off the other side of the screen. And then you just do it as it doesn't really matter what you do, but we can as the developers, you can guide the way the player plays by giving the critical colors, but they're not limited to it. So say a red enemy comes by, you can still hit a blue button and you'll get a small amount of blue charge. But if a red enemy comes and you hit a red button, you'd get more of a red charge than you would if you had hit a blue button. Does that make sense? Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And then Ross, right, for the way home?
Yeah, that's my name currently.
Wait, is it not Ross?
No, it is Ross. Oh.
Then why did you say it apparently? I'm bad at, I have 100.
Dude, I swear.
Oh, your name is Victor? Yeah. Then your name is Ross. All right.
Just go.
Yeah, so we have Victor for the way home.
Before I begin, can we just give like one more round of applause for Priscilla and Christian for amazing game pitches? Alright, so the gaming industry is going through a sort of trend right now with horror games. In these horror games, you typically play as the guy who has no weapons, it's in first person view, and PewDiePie is like playing it for some reason. But yeah, it's kind of pretty good. So for my pitch, I want to go for something sort of different. Like The Way Home, you play as a dog who got abandoned by his owner when society collapsed and famine has set in. And because of this, society is now resorting to eating unconventional animals like cats and dogs. Yeah, I'm sorry. But anyways, since you've been abandoned, you, as a dog, have only one goal in mind, to find your way back home. And along the way, of course, you'll witness society's collapse, such as people abandoning their homes, barricading themselves, rioting, committing suicide. Well, no, I won't go that far. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can show that in the game. And yeah, doing whatever it takes to survive. And of course, at the end of the game, you'll find your owner, but your owner his house has been recently ransacked by bandits, and he's been shot, fatally shot, and is dying. And so the dog just lays with his owner as he's dying, then cut to black. I'm sorry. These are my inspirations for the game. Outlast, Inside Limbo, Penumbra, yada yada. And with Inside and Limbo, those are primarily side-scroll games, which is exactly the type of gameplay I want to go for. So of course there'll be 2 settings. The forest will act as a tutorial level as the dog makes his way out of the forest and invading hunters who had just recently shot like maybe a couple animals here and there. And the city will be, the main attraction. It'll be, like as you go into the city, it'll be like slowly destroyed by the resulting chaos by rioters and humanity's actions. And of course you get to move the dog left to right and, like any side scroller, go from point A to point B, while evading enemies, so this is slow game style. And yeah, it'll be short and sweet enough, but I do plan to have, kind of like crudely drawn this in my notebook. So yeah, you plan to go from point A to point B, but you can take different paths to get there. And some paths, of course, will have secret areas like hells or something maybe like a chicken leg in a hole in the wall, like Castlevania. And yeah, you ought to play a dog or anything, whatever. Okay, I made this mock-up in Gary's mod. So this is obviously the gameplay. You're the dog, you can hide in bushes while evading the terrorist, or like bandit. While Master Chief is sitting nearby reading his newspaper. But yeah, enemies have like a vision cone. And of course, like if you're in that vision cone, you get spotted, obviously. And when you get spotted, they attack you and you lose health, which is also obvious. But also your movement noise will also make noise. Yeah, your movement will also make noise, so be sure not to get too close to them, or they'll like turn around and spot you right away. And of course, you can hide in like various areas like bushes, trash cans, corridors, yada yada. 1 minute left? All right. And of course, there's a simplistic 2D art style, no dialogue, I'm just rushing now because I have 1 minute left. Background sound effects, which is people, some chaos. And that's it. Any questions? So it's like, yeah.
Can you go back to the art direction? It sounded like it to be on.
Sorry. I'm like, out of rush of it. I just want to go for like a simplistic 2D art style, to make it easier for you folks. And of course, like no dialogue, like no heavy cutscenes or narrative, just the dog bark and people grunting a bit. Of course, for sound effects, we could just go for nature's and humanity's environment. For music, I think no music whatsoever because we want to capture the feel of your environment around you. And yeah, any other questions? Ciao.
Okay, so there won't be any story or a certain character that you can tell us images of what's happening. Will there be some of that?
Yeah, if you played Half-Life 2, you might find stories around the map, your environment or whatever. Or something like The Last of Us. Because you're a dog, you obviously can't read notes. So you might just find maybe destroyed houses or people's houses being empty, or maybe little graffiti on the walls, kind of like in Left 4 Dead. Yeah.
All right, that's all we got time for there. Thank you very much. Hate to do this. One addendum I want to make though is that there probably will be music because we need to give our sound people. But they can make you feel the environment through the music, I promise. All right, so yes, can we get Alex? All right, Alex, we have Captain Swift,
Yeah.
right? Okay, thank you very much.
In all honesty, I did not know that I was supposed to give a speech. If I knew that, I probably would have dished a game pitch already. So yeah, here I got Captain Swift, a fellow British sailor. and he set out into a sea, and he set out into a sea, and he had a ship crash. But when he wake up, he found himself in mysterious islands with mysterious tribes, and the crew was captured. So yeah, he wanted to find a way to get off the islands and rescue his crew. The mechanic is gonna be like moving left, right, up, and when you crouch down, you get to zoom out so you can see the whole screen, of what's ahead. So yeah, the core game experience I was hoping to give them is to have a sense of being adventurous and a cautious leader. As they explore the island and finding diaries along the way. Dang, this is really making me nervous.
Do it.
I was hoping to use a ZXC controller, like how they do in the Undertale. So yeah, when you open the Z, you get to swing sword. When you click X, you get to open inventory. C is to interact the object. But when you when you like try to rescue your crew like how they do in the Metal Slug game, like they like yay and like they bring back to the screen. But I was hoping to make them your allies too. So once you capture them, you can use them for your special attack. Click the space bar and like you get to summon your crew for a cannon. Like the more crew you summon, the more cannon it's gonna attack. It's just gonna be in a straight line. It's just gonna be more cannon. So yeah. And for the Captain Swift game, I was hoping. For a British captain, I was hoping to make a cartoon color, just make it look funny, but make the storyline mysterious. The story mysterious. So along the way, yeah, like I said, like he had to find the diaries and to find out what's going on. Once he do find the stories, the music would get us to a more serious tone, to make it sound like as if you solved something. How am I getting? I was actually for the game pitch. I was actually hoping to share this idea, hoping to be combined with other game ideas, so that they can use my idea for something else. So yeah, I didn't actually expect to give a public speech, and yeah, now my hand is shaking. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Hello everybody, if you don't know me, my name is Shayna. I did not expect to be competing against a dog, but I'll try my hardest. So the work in progress name is The Compass, and the premise of the story is you are alone, adrift in the vastness of space, surrounded by the hostile remnants of an ancient war. You have no memory, no navigation equipment, and all you have is your ship, your wits, and a voice in the dark to guide you. So the game objective is to gather parts to repair your ship's navigation relay in order to be rescued. And the feeling that I'm going for with this is a sense of loneliness, of abandonment, and a slight sense of wonder at the universe we're going to find. So the gameplay is a top-down shooter with an asteroid-style movement, meaning that the ship can move freely within the space instead of only being in like one direction. And each level is followed by dialogue, and the dialogue choices offer multiple endings. So depending on what you tell the woman in the dark will give you a different ending to the story. So the combat is, enemies continue to spawn until they're destroyed. There's a timer telling you when the next wave of enemies will be coming, and if you don't destroy them all within that time, another wave will come. There are multiple enemy types with different attributes that they can use against you. The ship has shields that can regenerate, so if you play Overwatch, think of Reinhardt's shield, which can be destroyed, but after it's been destroyed will regenerate over a certain period of time. And when the shields are up, the guns are 50% less effective. So you're firing through your shields, meaning your guns have less effect, but you don't take direct damage as a ship with your shields up. Lowering your shields improves the gun damage, but exposes the ship to direct damage. The ship's health does not regenerate during combat. It only regenerates after a battle is won. And so your victory condition is when you defeat all enemies in a sector. And defeat condition is when the ship health reaches 0 and you explode. So this is my mock-up. I am not on art team for a reason. But the idea is that you are actually looking at your ship through a frame, which is your ship's monitor. So instead of watching it directly, you're actually second-handedly watching it through your own ship's monitor to see how you are dealing with enemies and when they are coming. So you've got like a timer on there, you've got a thing that tells you what your shields are at, and then what your ship's health is at. And then at the end of every level, you will get an option for dialogue. And the dialogue will be the woman in the dark. So obviously I play a lot of RPG games. I also watch a lot of Star Trek, if you can't tell, so damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor. It will give you every dialogue will give you options for choices, but not every choice really has a direct effect, but it does give us the player a sense of decision and control. So how this will interest the teams, our team will get a new genre since we haven't worked on a sci-fi really before. With a challenging technical design aspect, you will get to try to make technical objects as well as space. Design, aka narrative, gets branching dialogues with multiple endings to encourage new approaches to storytelling. And creating unique levels for design teams specifically will prove a challenge because you will have to make it interesting and different from previous levels while still staying in the same play style. Tech will get to create a balanced combat system that engages the player without being excessively difficult. And sound, I would be very excited if I was on sound, but that's because I'm a sci-fi geek. Gets the opportunity to create ambient sound environments and music in a sci-fi setting, allowing for an exploration away from traditional natural music and sound, and something that immerses you in the universe. My inspirations are Elite Dangerous in terms of at least the UI, Firewatch, and FTL. If you haven't played any of these games, I highly suggest it. And so if there's any questions, go ahead and ask them now. There's a lot. Okay, you first.
You mentioned something about having to rebuild parts of your ship.
Yes.
So will there be like segments in between where you like fit the pieces together or something?
So I think that's something that would end up probably being feature creep. My initial idea was something very similar, but I think with time constraints, the more likelihood is to aim for getting rewarded with parts at the end of every level. And then if it turns out we have enough time, I think that would be something we could probably try to implement. Hopefully. You.
Okay, so for the choice ending, like, is it going to be like Mass Effect's shitty ending, or is it going to be like?
Why would you bring that up in a public space? No. We don't talk about red, green, blue, and we will never talk about it again. Okay. But no, it wouldn't be like that. I think I put a lot of trust in our narrative team to do something at least better than red, green, blue. Anybody else? You in the back. I think probably not roguelike, just so we don't punish players too much. It also depends on what you guys decide. If we end up doing this, it also is more along the lines of what you guys would like to make. If a roguelike is something that you guys would like to make, I think the mechanics work with that. I think the mechanics also work with simply a linear story where the player starts over again at a single level and then tries to keep going. So yeah, anyone else? Peter.
Just to be clear, the picture looks a little bit like an on-rail shooter, like I'm going straight up all the time, but I'm assuming you said asteroids, I can like circle around and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not on art team because I'm terrible. So don't take my pictures to heart. I'm absolutely convinced that art with their wonderful skill will do something much better than me. So that's just a mock-up. But yeah, it would be something more along the lines of being able to move freely within the space. And it would probably be much wider. That's a very small, narrow screen that I've made.
Okay.
That it?
What were you trying to fight? Are you
What are you aiming to fight for? Like,
Oh yeah, okay. So I didn't include it on here because I didn't want to go too much into plot because I felt like narrative would be probably tweaking that. But my initial idea is that you're fighting the basically mechanical remnants of an ancient species that died in a war, but left their kind of guardians behind. And these things are what you have to fight through in order to repair your ship, take parts from them, and survive. And then once you have enough, you'll be able to be rescued because you'd have set up your comms communication, not your comms, your navigational communication to send out a relay signal. So, anyone else?
I think that's what we have time for, but thank you so much.
All right.
All right, so we got some pretty awesome game pitches this semester. One thing I just want to make clear to everyone is that there's a tendency that happens amongst, especially our new members who maybe don't have a lot of experience developing, might have no experience developing, and there are people who are just throwing all this information at you and you're like, I have no idea how the heck I would do this, how I would make this. I just have no concept. It's very scary. I don't want it. I'm leaving. Bye. If you've already paid $10, it's fine. I'm just kidding. No, but again, this is a club about teaching. So if you don't have any experience, you don't have any knowledge about how to make this stuff, but you want to, we'll teach you. You're in the right place, I promise. So with that in mind, actually I closed my PowerPoint presentation and I shouldn't. Wait, give me a sec. With that in mind, we'll vote. If you already know what you want to vote for, then just write it down, piece of paper, fold the paper up, and then, just pass it down, pass it to the front. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Josh will be collecting them from you. And if you don't remember all the games, I'm about to bring all of them back up again. So we have the House of Usher, not the pop singer. We have the compass. Okay, so I put ports of alien ships. That's wrong. Robotic ships. Discover who you are. Discover who you are. Why you lost memory, and discover who you are. The way home. Play as a lost dog. Find your way home. Avoiding danger to the environment. Captain Smith. Hack and slash your way through a hostile island to save your ship, your crew, and your booty. Rhythm runners. Use the power of rhythm to drop the beat your opponents into submission. That's what like it kind of started there originally, and yeah. Oh, paper. Does anyone else need paper? No. Okay. I can. Yes. Yes. All right. So we're gonna have some of our officers count up the votes.
Do we have any more votes?
Yeah. Do we have any more? Going once. Going twice. Sold to the man with the wonderful afro. All right, so now we're going to split into our discipline teams. So, okay, so Peter, raise your hand. That's where, if you're going to want to be on gameplay design, no, stay right there. Where are you going? Go back. Sit down. Now give me a push-up. No, all right. Yeah, so if you want to be on the gameplay design team, you're going to want to check in with him at some point in time. So we have a lot of our multidisciplinary people. We have a lot of people who are on multiple discipline teams, and a lot of them are also on the gameplay team. So those of you who are dedicated gameplay designers, stay with him. Those of you who are multidisciplinary, check in with both teams, okay? We don't have anyone who's on more than 2 teams this semester. That's probably for the best. 2 teams is a lot already. Art team, I'll be over there shortly, so if you're art, go over there. Tech team, Michael's here, hang out with him. Cameron, I'm sorry, I'm gonna make you move.
Wait, I have to move?
Yeah. You'll also be like over there. All right. And then narrative, Elijah, raise your hand. Narrative people, hang out with Elijah. So we have gameplay. Yeah, okay, cool. So our people, over that way.